What's going on, boys and girls? It's me, Ben DPB, but I have a brand new episode of Ben Meets, and today we've got the Slovenian sensation. We've got Cultured Left Foot. How are you, sir?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good. That could be your new YouTube now, the Slovenian sensation.
Yeah, the Slovenian sensation. I like that.
Oh, I like that. I just made that up. I want any money you make from that. I want to cut that, by the way, just to let you know.
Yeah, a little commission coming your way.
Potential shirt sales and mug sales and whatnot, just to put it out there.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do, mate, I'm going to ask the usual icebreaker questions I like here. We're going to start with my favourite question. What's your favourite food?
I'm a big fan of Italian food, so I'd probably go with a good, proper spaghetti bolognese as my favourite food, I reckon. It's a tough call between that and something like sausage and mash, traditional English, but my grandma she was Italian and she used to make this amazing spaghetti bolognese, so I'd probably go with that as my favourite food.
Did you ever get that secret recipe, or is it just Domino sauce? Or...
I did, and I make it for my wife quite regularly. She absolutely loves it.
Have you told her the recipe, or is it going to die with you?
No. There's certain things you can share in marriage, but not the secret to a good spag bowl.
So what's your favourite TV show?
I've got a few really. Like there's the main ones like Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, Dexter. I'm a massive fan of Dexter. Apart from the last season, it was terrible.
Oh god, don't remind me.
Yeah, but I'm just a big the main ones that you get probably from America. Really, are the best ones. I'd probably say Breaking Bad's up there as my best favourite ever. Although I'm a massive Simpsons fan as well. I'll just go around sort of quoting that around the house just to annoy the wife. So.
I was a big Dexter fan as well, but that last season, especially that last episode, was just awful.
It just ruined it. It ruined what was a really good series.
I mean, the last episode made no sense as well. He goes into the water. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched it after it finished 10 years ago. But he goes into the water and suddenly he's a frigging lumberjack. It's like, what are you doing? It's just... It was almost as bad as the Lost. It was almost as bad as the Lost finale. Do you know what I mean?
Oh man, I gave up with Lost. I just gave up with Lost. I got I think it was about 2.5 seasons through it, and then I was just like, it's got too mental for me already. I was like, I just couldn't deal with it. I was like, lost all interest in Lost.
I was one of those sad cases that stayed up till 2:30 in the morning to watch the live finale from America. You know, I stayed up.
Hell.
I liked Lost, but again, like Dexter, the last season I was like, what are you doing to my show? I really like this show. You're just absolutely destroying it.
Yeah.
It's amazing how often that happens. I mean, one of the few shows had a superb season ended. One of your favourite shows, Breaking Bad. I mean, that final season, arguably one of the greatest final seasons in TV history. That's not being dramatic. That final season is amazing.
Yeah, because there's points in the show where you just think they'd lost sort of things, or they were making stories up that you didn't think were going anywhere, and then all of a sudden it was like, bam, they get a really good ending to that part of the story, and it opens up another one. But with the final series, like you say, it was just brilliant. They ended every single story that had been going, apart from the one, obviously Jesse escapes. Spoilers again. Jesse escapes, and then it's sort of left to your imagination, like what happens to him. Which I think was brilliant.
I'm surprised by now we haven't seen a sequel with Jesse, because his film career didn't exactly go particularly well.
No.
So I thought by now we would have seen some sort of sequel, what Jesse's done afterwards. But I'm guessing he's probably trying to get away from that. But it would have been great to see how Jesse survived in the real world, shall we say? But then we tried that with. Better Call Saul. I don't know if you watched that, but
yeah, I quite like Better Call Saul. I've watched the whole first series, and my wife and I are big fans of it, and we'd normally watch these things together, but we'd lined it up, and then Game of Thrones started again. So Game of Thrones gets priority.
I won't spoil it for you then, Better Call Saul, because I've watched them all now, so I won't spoil it for you.
All right. Do you like series 2? Is it good?
I like series 2 a lot. I mean, it's not quite as comedic as I thought it would be. I assume Better Call Saul would be a comedy because of how he was in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
But it's more of a drama / comedy. There's a couple of comedic moments in there, but it's a lot more of a drama than it is a comedy, which is not a bad thing. But just in Better Call Saul, in Breaking Bad, he's basically the comedic character for the entire show. And like when he said, "Give me $1 because I'll be your character," while he's got a gun at his head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This guy's amazing, but I'm a huge fan of Saul Goodman, and you also see a lot of old characters in series 2, which is good. So
okay, good.
I quite enjoyed it. I won't spoil
Excellent.
it. Don't worry. I'm normally pretty bad for spoiling stuff for people, accidentally, by the way, not on purpose. Like I went into work, a new job. Literally, my first day at work, I heard them talk about the show Vikings.
Oh, yeah,
I loved the show Vikings. I went, I couldn't believe it when character X died. And he goes, no! Because I have my manager, my first day, I was spoiled the show. He's only halfway through the series, so he's about three series behind where I got up to, because he just started watching. I basically spoiled 2 seasons worth of stuff for him. So I've learned from
great way to start a new job.
Yeah, exactly. I've tried to learn from that.
Yeah.
So what's your favourite film?
Oh, my favourite film? Probably, because I'm a massive nerd, probably Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back.
Really? You're a bit I'm about to say Trekkie there, but you're not Trekkie, he's a Star Wars fan. What's a Star Wars fan called?
I don't know. A nerd? No, I don't know. I don't know what we're called, really.
I've seen all the Star Wars films apart from the last 2 new ones.
Okay.
I didn't think the prequels was bad as they were made out to be myself, but that's just
me. It depends what you want from them. Attack of the Clones is absolutely terrible. But
which one's that one?
Attack of the Clones is the second one of the prequel.
Oh, is that the one where they get married in secret?
Yeah,
that was a bad. That is a bad one.
There's just it's the start of the stormtroopers, so they just have a shitload of clone armies. Sorry, we're trying to be family friendly. I saw that in one of the other videos. So yeah, they have a big army of what are called clone troopers who look like stormtroopers, and they come down and attack. It's just terrible. It's just it's not worth talking about. That's how bad it is.
I like Darth Maul, if that helps. I thought Darth Maul was pretty cool.
Darth Maul in the Phantom Menace. Well, he makes the Phantom Menace good, but it's that film, the Phantom Menace, is at least it's entertaining.
Yeah.
Although it's rubbish as a Star Wars story, it is an entertaining film ish. The last 2 that have just come out, I think, are really good. Rogue One especially is up there. It's probably quite close to being one of my top 5 films. Rogue One.
Oh really?
Yeah, I really really liked it.
So last bit, by no means least, club versus country.
It's always tough because I've listened to some other people you've done this with, and I'm pretty sure I'm in the minority when I say country.
Amen. I'm a country man as well.
Because I think no matter who your club is, you can range success very differently. So if you're my home club was Folkestone Invicta, who are terrible. But eventually, in my lifetime, the chances are that they will win the league they're in because the league is terrible. Whereas in my lifetime, especially at the moment, it really doesn't look like England are going to win anything.
Because you're now being Italian, do you follow Italy at all?
I like them. I'll always support them enough to hope they win, but I'll never support them above England.
Nice to hear.
Yeah, I'm English through and through. So, well, obviously I'm not. I've got part Italian in my blood, but yeah, when it comes to sport, it's always England. So, and I'd definitely prefer to see. I know we're going to come on to who I support later, but I'd always definitely prefer to see England win the World Cup than Man United win a quadruple.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. Because, as I said, I think it'll be a once-in-a-lifetime event for England to win the World Cup. I mean, it has been.
Yeah.
It's been once in a eternity event, hasn't it? So far, for them to win a World Cup. So, yeah.
That's good things. Like I said, I think it's just me. I think it was keepers was the only one to have chosen country. Everyone else has chosen club.
So I think Gencaldo said it as well.
Was it Gencaldo?
Yeah, because that's the one that's the last one I listened to was Gencaldo.
So you've been in YouTube for a little while now. I mean, so what was your reasons for starting YouTube in the first place? Was there a particular YouTuber that inspired you? Was there a particular save that you played offline and you thought, I want to give this a go? What was the reason?
I'll tell you what it was. It was really weird. I was actually getting to the end of, I think it was Football Manager 15 I was playing. And I was sort of like, when you get to it's like the end of the cycle of that Football Manager.
Yeah.
And I was sort of just on YouTube going, I wonder, has anyone done any weird experiments or something like that to go and look out of? Not knowing they were called experiments at the time, I just went into YouTube and I was like, let's have a look see what's going on with Football Manager and see if anyone's done one of those. Because I used to read a lot of stuff about Football Manager on forums and Side Games forums about what people wanted in the next one that was going to come out. So I wanted to look at a video and see if anyone had actually done anything on the video to say, in the next one, why don't they improve this, that, and the other? And then look at things where people have done what if all the Premier League was flipped and they were all in the conference and the conference teams were in the Premiership. And I still started looking at them. And I was never really found someone that I liked. And then somehow I stumbled across Dr. Benji's Parma drama series. And I joined it about halfway through and then just binged watched it completely. And it got to the end of that series. And I was like, I don't like, obviously, I think Dr. Benji does it for full time. I think he does YouTube full time and that's his income. And I was like, I'm not really fussed about the income, but it'll be great just to play it and show other people like the enjoyment I get out of playing it. So I set up a channel and off I went, really. And then with that, I found loads of other people.
Where did the name come from? Cultured Left Foot.
I'm a player manager at football for my team in Bristol, where I live, and I'm a very uncultured right-footed centre back. So I thought, what's the complete opposite of how I actually play? It will be someone with a very cultured left foot. So yeah, it's sort of just stuck, really. Yeah.
Now I've been a big fan.
It's probably not very good for an actual YouTube channel name because it's not very catchy. But
well, at least nobody else is going to have it. Look at it that way.
Well, yeah.
Unless you called it my left foot, that might be a little bit different. But
well, yeah.
No, I've been a big fan of your NK Maribor save. I remember watching it way back with the intro. Your intro in particular was very good when you spoke about your reason for supporting the club. If memory serves me correct, it was due to a game of FIFA that you played.
Yeah, 96.
For the
classic.
For the guys that haven't watched the intro, if you haven't, why the hell not? But for the guys that haven't watched the intro, why don't you tell people why you started playing as NK Maribor?
Oh, wow. Back in, FIFA, I'm pretty sure it was FIFA 96. It might be 98, but I'm pretty sure it was 96 on the N64. And basically, when you'd had a bad day at school or uni or whatever it was still school for me back then, but you'd get in and you'd just think, I just want to beat the computer really easily. You'd log on to FIFA 96. You'd be Inter Milan or Man United or someone like that who had this world-class team. And you would pick a team called Maribor Titanic on the easier setting, and you could make it so that every goal you scored was an overhead kick. And you would win like 20, 25-0. It was ludicrous. It was one of those. And then that set off something in my mind to sort of be like, well, who is this Maribor Titanic team? Who the hell are they? And how can they possibly be this bad? And it turns out that Maribor Titanic were actually a team called NK Maribor because they didn't have the rights to call them their proper name. And then I just thought of, fell in love with them really because they were so bad on FIFA, and I just couldn't, at that age, at the age I was, it must have been about 12 or 13, something like that, maybe 11, maybe. I'm trying to think when the N64 came out, but years and years and years ago, and you don't think of anyone being that bad because all you've ever seen is like proper professional footballers, whether it was Premiership, Championship, League One, they're all at a decent standard, and like League Two, the conference, are all a decent standard, but this team were just terrible on FIFA. So I was like, well, that set it off in motion. Then they played in purple, and I had a thing for people in purple kits, and it literally just grew from then. And it's one of those where I've always, like every football manager that's come out, I've always looked at them, but I've never managed them before, and I thought it would be perfect for a YouTube series. So why not give it a go?
I mean, you're one of the very few YouTubers that have actually been to the ground as well, haven't you?
I have, yeah. We went on my mate and I did a it's quite a funny, I say funny story. It's quite an odd story.
You built up now. You better make me laugh.
Yeah, you built up. We both work at the same company, and we had 7 days holiday left that we had to use before the end of the year. And we were like, we've never actually gone on a holiday together, and we've been friends for years at university. And we were like, what should we do? We both enjoy driving, we both enjoy seeing loads of places, and we both enjoy good weather. So we wanted to go to Croatia on a driving holiday. And it was it was actually about £200 cheaper to fly, rather than fly to Croatia and then get a hire car in Croatia. It was cheaper to fly to Slovenia and get a hire car in Slovenia and drive across the border and then do the drive that we wanted to do down Croatia. So we flew into Slovenia, and it turned out that we had to have a night stay in Ljubljana. And obviously NK Maribor were from Slovenia. So the day that we had in Slovenia, I made my mate drive me to the NK Maribor stadium. I made us drive it. It's something about an hour and a half out of Ljubljana, maybe 2 hours, down to their stadium. And literally, there is, no offense to anyone from Maribor if you're listening, there is nothing else to do in Maribor other than look at that stadium. And my mate, who isn't really into football, he doesn't mind watching it or having it on in the background, but he doesn't support anyone. he was like, "Why have I driven you this far to see this stadium?" I was like, "It's iconic. I've got to see it." And I was like a little kid in a sweet shop, like at this stadium. The stadium was shut. No one else was there. But I was so excited about it. And then we drove back, and that sort of set a precedence for the holiday. And we did this road trip through Croatia, and we saw, I think it was 8 stadiums in 6 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I made him drive to every city or village we stayed in. I made him. Well, we'd shared the drive-in, but we went and saw every single stadium that was in wherever we stayed. It was brilliant.
So are you no longer friends now? If he's not a football fan.
Yeah, no, we're still very good friends. It was quite funny actually. It was the one time I think I've seen him get into football. You know when Simone Zaza did that really stupid penalty in the Euros with that stupid run up.
That little dink.
Day.
I was thinking it was the little weird run up.
Yeah, his weird run up. Yeah, it was for Italy. So I was obviously supporting Italy against Germany, and we were watching that in a pub. And that's the one time I've seen him have any sort of opinion on football. And all he did was call Zaza a complete and utter pillock, twat, whatever you want to say it, and all the words under the sun doing that penalty. And I was like, yes, I knew you would be passionate about something. Like I'd swayed him round. But yeah, so I have been to the ground and I've been to the club shop and they offered to get my shirt signed by one of the players.
No.
Yeah. They were like, because I bought a shirt and they're like, oh, what the, 2 English guys doing what the bloody hell are you doing in Maribor sort of thing. And I was explaining to the lady in the club shop, it's, I'm a big fan of Maribor. I've loved them for ages. I've always wanted to come. And she was like, oh, well, the players are on summer holidays at the moment, but if you want, we can get a kit signed and sent to you. So that should be arriving sometime soon. Because I bought a kit in the stadium. I bought a top in the stadium or in the club shop. And she said, we can get this one signed for you. I was like, but I want to take this one home and wear it to football training. So that should be hopefully with me pretty soon.
I've got a signed football shirt from TNS, the New Saints of Wales.
Oh, yeah, in Wales, yeah.
Yeah, I represented them as an e-gamer for FIFA. I was shit, by the way. But the reason how I represented them was because I did a save as TNS on Foot Manager.
Okay.
And someone at the club came across the save and liked me as a person. I said, do you want to be our e-gamer? And I got a shirt signed by all the players and the management, so I've got that proudly on a frame in my living room. So, I've got a TNS one, I've got an Ajax one, and a Luton one. Now, can I get them signed? Probably not, but that's my aim, to try and get a signed shirt by every club that I play as a Football Manager. It's not going to be easy, but you and I are both almost halfway there. You've got your NK Maribor, I've got my TNS.
Yeah. Nice.
Roll on, roll on.
Yeah, exactly. It's always a good collection to get. So we've just. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I've just moved house, and I've finally got like a man room that I can call my own.
A man cave.
A man cave, yeah. And the first thing I did was install like a shelf with a rail on it and hang all my football shirts up. So again, everywhere I go around the world, I collect a football shirt.
Oh, really?
From places I've been, yeah.
Real ones or ones from the market?
Nah, real ones. So I'm trying to think. I'm just counting them. They're next to me. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Hell.
I've got probably about 35.
You've done well then.
Shirts. So, yeah, some of them are England and Man United ones, but yeah. So I love it. Love collecting football shirts.
Was you concerned about choosing NK Maribor to say? Because no offence to the club, they're quite a small team, and if you're a channel the size of Dr. Benji, Loki Doki, you could potentially afford to do a smaller team because you're still going to get the views. Was there any fear in the back of your head, in the back of your mind rather, about choosing a smaller team for a channel at the start? Had 400, 500 subscribers when you started FM17?
I think it was less than that. I think when I started FM17.
So
I've always had an inkling. I think I've even put it on my Twitter profile page. I've got a love for the obscure leagues, and it's true because I think the first ever save I did on my YouTube channel, which I'm just quickly trying to confirm, was actually in Peru. The first ever one I did, I think I did it in the Peruvian league, and I was the poorest team that you could be in the game. Allianz Lima, that's it. So I've always had this love of obscure teams and leagues and things like that. And like I said before, I've got a great job. I love my job, and I'm not doing this to be, my lifetime ambition to be a full-time YouTuber, although it would be great. That's not what I'm setting out to do. So I'm not too fussed about subs. It's always nice to see the count rising. So I never really had that concern to say, oh, I don't know if people are gonna watch this and catch on. I mean, I think my viewership is about 50-50 between England and Slovenia. So the amount of Slovenian people I actually have subscribed to my channel and watching my videos is crazy, because they're like, and the amount of comments you get, oh, no one's ever done a save with Maribor or in Slovenia. It's really good to see it, sort of thing. So yeah, to answer your question, no, I was never really fussed.
That's good, because obviously a lot of guys, when they've got smaller channels, have concerns about they all want to go for a Man United, a Chelsea, or whoever, because they want to get those views and those subs. I mean, that's why when I did my save as TNS, I had concerns in the back of my mind. I thought, look, they're a small team. No offense to TNS, they're a small team compared to Manchester United. Is this going to work for me? And thankfully, it did, because it's given me a job working in e-gaming and e-sports because of that. So it can be beneficial being the smaller teams. And I don't know yet what I'm going to do for FM18. I'm hopefully going to stick around the smaller teams again. I mean, it's a little bit away. I say that's about 3 months away. Do you have any ideas for FM18 yet? Or
I've got a few in my head. And I'm trying to go. I'll definitely be sticking smaller team or obscure league or something like that. Definitely, because it's what I enjoy. I think I've done Slovenia, so I'm in 2034 in my save, and I've spent enough time in Slovenia, so I think that's done. But the options I'm thinking about is either taking on a club from Croatia, one of the ones I visited in Croatia, and doing a similar sort of thing of building the team up and trying to get the country to be one of the best leagues in the world, something like that, or to do a sort of a road trip sort of journeyman series similar to what Loki Doki has done around the world and in Europe, but only a visit in obscure leagues. So I'd go from like Singapore, China, Thailand, Croatia, Azerbaijan, maybe Russian second division, and trying to visit all these leagues that I'd never really played before and not many people would see before, and just dotted around the sort of dregs of Europe and see what happens.
I've got so many ideas for FM18. I mean, I'm potentially looking at doing a rip-off of Second General Cards one. FC Midtjylland. I mean, I've said it a million times before, I'm one of the biggest Second General Card fans that are out there. So I would love to do a Second General Card style save with FC Midtjylland and try and turn them into, like I'm trying to do with Ajax, turn them into the best team in Europe. I mean, I don't know if I've quite got the pace like you have to get to 2034. I mean, I've never had a save go more than 6-7 years in my entire FM playing career. So how you managed to do a save going, fucking 25 years or something, I don't know, is extremely impressive.
Yeah, I've played something like, I think it's 1,100 games of football. I've managed something like 1,100 games of football in game. It's, I'll tell you what, I honestly thought, I don't know if you have like where people are up to on the series and spoilers and stuff like that, but I honestly thought I was going to win that Champions League final against Man City. I was gutted. I was actually gutted. Like, I had to stop playing the game for like 3 days.
Tell us what happened.
I had this monumental run to the Champions League Cup final. I got drawn in quite an easy group. I was like, I'm going to win that group. I even said it. I even said it before, like as it was drawn. I was like, we're going to win that group. We had a group of Celtic, Marseille, and Porto, and as soon as that was drawn, I was like, we're going to win that group. That's a done deal. I'm happy with that. We got a really easy draw in the next round, in the first knockout round against Olympiacos, and we drew both games 0-0 and went through on penalties. And I was like, maybe we're not as good as we thought we were. Then we had Juventus in the quarterfinals, and we smashed them 3-2 away and then 2-1 at home. And then we played Barcelona, and we won 6-2 in the first leg and drew 1-1 in the second leg, and then went on to play Man City and lost 4-2 when we were 2-0 up.
Ouch.
Went 2-0 up. We went 1-0 up in the first minute through Dewey, who's absolutely amazing. Then it was 1-1 after 15 minutes. Then it went 2-1 just on the stroke of half time to us. They came out in the second half and just blitzed us, totally blew us away. 47th minute they scored. 68th minute they scored to make it 3-2. I chucked loads of men forward and they scored on the break in the 92nd minute. And I can't watch that episode back because of the ending. I like to go back and watch some of my old really old episodes to see how much I've improved and where I can improve and things like that. And Yeah, I just can't watch that one. It's dreadful to see it. Like watching, it's weird, obviously watching yourself on cam because I use a face cam, but watching it, it's just like, oh god, you can see like the heartbreak when they score that third goal, and it's just like, oh, what a nightmare. And what I had done foolishly is asked in the semi-final episode against Barcelona, I had asked people like, okay, so if we win it this year, what do I do with the save? Where do we go? And all these people had given like comments and ideas about what to do when we win the Champions League. And that was 3 years ago in game time. And it's like, now we're still going. We're still trying to win the Champions League. It's still going. And I've still got all these people saying, like commenting that are catching up on the series, commenting on that video going, oh yeah, if you win it, do this. It's like, oh God, stop talking. I've lost it.
You're rubbing it in. Rubbing it in. If you do win the Champions League, are you going to end the save or are you going to carry it on?
I think it will massively depend to how close Football Manager 18 is to coming out.
Yeah.
Because if there's still a bit of time until Football Manager 18, or at least the beta is coming out, I will carry it on and I'll probably leave Maribor and take over like another club in the second division, or maybe move to a different league. I probably will stay in Slovenia, but try and get someone to beat Maribor's domination that I've set up for them, sort of thing. The other thing is I just end the Maribor bit of the save and just be the Slovenian manager. But I don't know. International management is still pretty rubbish on Football Manager. It's still pretty pants. So to be honest, that part of the save isn't very interesting.
I'm going to say it. I've always been a huge fan of International Management FM. I don't know why.
Okay.
I remember back in the day, many moons ago, you couldn't when you go to a club station, you couldn't pick an international team many moons ago. The only way you could be an international manager was you just have to go into a team, find, say, Wayne Rooney, click on England as the England flag, and then take over the international team that way.
I remember that, yeah.
I don't know if it was a glitch in the game or like a hidden Easter egg, but I remember back in the day, and I used to always do it just to become a manager of England or Brazil or Italy. I've always enjoyed being an international manager, and I know people hate it.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I like the idea of picking the best players from the country, and I never pick your Wayne Rooney's, your Frank Lampard, your Stevie Jones. I always try and go for sort of like guys that are on the fringe of the England team, like many moons ago, like your Jordan Hendersons, your James Milners, your Peter Crouches, and try and do the best I can with them. So a lot of people hate, or not hate, they just find it a bit tedious, a bit boring. There's not a lot you can do.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing that annoys me about it, is that there isn't that much you can do.
I mean, you go watch a game, but who wants to sit there and watch a game where you're not even playing? You know, you just sort of sit there and watch other guys. Yeah, as a scouting mission, you could go watch, I don't know, United v Man City, but it's just like, yeah, this is boring. So I can understand why it can be quite tedious for other people. But as I'm a bit of an FM geek, I still enjoy it. I know I'm one of the many few people who do, but that's just me. I'm a sucker for punishment.
Yeah. I mean, I do enjoy the Slovenian management side of it. It's just not, I don't know, I'm not enjoying it as much as I am the Maribor save, and luckily it's not distracting me from the Maribor save yet, because I've just sort of put the schedule of the Slovenian international management job now just slots in.
Yeah.
And none of my viewers have complained to say, you know, why aren't we having 5 videos a week of just making Maribor? Like, as I said, most 50% of my viewership is from Slovenia, so they're quite excited about this international management bit as well. But it's a shame that's gone all tits up and I didn't qualify for the World Cup.
But I like the idea that you split the 2 saves, you know, so for the people that aren't necessarily fans of international management, they don't have to watch it. They can watch your NK Maribor. For guys that are fans of international football like me, can then watch your NK Maribor. So I like the idea that you split it up, because I've seen some guys before manage club and country, they try and do it in the same save, but I think it's pretty good that you split the 2 saves up. I quite like that idea. You also do a little bit of Twitch. Now, Twitch is becoming more and more popular recently, basically because, in my opinion, and I like Twitch myself, because it's a hell of a lot easier than doing YouTube. You know, there's not so much editing involved, but one of the benefits of Twitch, as I'm sure we all know, is the interaction is instant. You know, you can have a bit of banter back and forwards. I mean, for someone like yourself who's doing Twitch more and more, you know, when you're having yourself a couple of beers as you play, or getting a pizza or an Indian or a Chinese as you've done before.
Were you in that stream?
I've been in a few streams when you've been like that, so yeah, it's good. I mean, do you prefer YouTube or Twitch at all? Do you have a favourite?
It's weird. I think I'm still prefer YouTube. I think I still prefer YouTube at the moment because I'm still quite relatively small. So when I go onto Twitch, I get I think my maximum viewers at one time has been around about 17, I think. So I feel like my viewers on YouTube I actually interact with them slightly more.
Yeah.
Because on Twitch, I have like a core. There are a core viewership that watch me on Twitch pretty much whenever I come on, and I was very happy to see that they stayed with me even when someone like Dr. Benji was streaming at the same time on Twitch. These guys didn't just jump ship and go to him straight away. But I do like the automatics, like instant interaction you have on Twitch. I do think that's really good. But I quite like YouTube in the sense that you can edit it and put graphics in and present things in a different way. It's a bit more artistic, and I'm not an artistic person. So the only real artistic thing I ever do is make Football Manager videos. And I like that element of it. And I think that would probably be my answer. I prefer YouTube, but I can understand the appeal of Twitch. And I enjoy doing Twitch. It is good fun.
See, when I'm watching Twitch, I prefer to watch the quotation marks, the smaller guys, because a fan, I get more of an interaction back and forth. When I go to Dr. Benji's or Clans or FM Scouts or Workspace, there's so much going on. You don't get a chance to talk. But when I go in yours, Viking Daz, Rich on Twitch, and many, many more, there's a lot more back and forth. There's an interaction. You feel involved. When you guys say, should I sell this play? Should I sell this play? Or another one, a very, very popular at the moment, Fat Man Dupe and Teach FM. Those guys are absolutely smashing it. I mean, I didn't in a million years thinking Network Safe would ever be as popular as it has been, but those guys have taken what was quite an unpopular idea and quite a popular concept on FM, and they've turned it into a very, very popular idea. So those guys are smashing it.
Yeah, they've done very well.
And I'm liking them a lot. Another one I enjoy, One True Nerd. I popped in a couple of times for his 24-hour live stream.
Yeah, that was good. It was good fun, that.
So to me, Twitch is great because it's something I can have on the background while I'm playing FM and have that interaction and hear the guys talk back and forth. I don't Twitch as much as I would like to. I don't get to play FM as much as I would like to, let alone stream, because of the shift pattern I do and having kids. And I've said before how guys like One True Nerd, when he was doing YouTube, got as much videos as he did do and got as many episodes as he did do. It surprises me because I haven't got the time, or the fucking patience to play FM as much as I would like. Editing a video can take a couple of hours if you do it, properly. I mean, how guys like Loki Doki can do it in 15, 20 minutes amazes me because it takes me forever. Forever.
Like Loki Doki he's brilliant, but what I like about him is that his editing is minimal.
Exactly.
But he keeps the interaction with the camera brilliant.
I like the fact that he talks while you're on the loading screen, rather than waiting for that, just cut out. He'll talk to you while the game's loading. So the episodes will start 4 days before the match, and he'll just talk shit while he's waiting for the game to come up. So it's a lot more fluid. And I haven't got. I don't know if self-confidence is the word, but I haven't got it in me right now to try that style of playing the game because I think you've either got it or you haven't.
I think that's one of the reasons why I probably still prefer YouTube, because I'm still relatively new at this.
Yeah.
And I think it's that talking through the loading screens and doing that on Twitch is still quite uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want that silence where, when it's a game, everyone's commenting on the game. But there's a guy who comes into my Twitch and follows me on YouTube and comments on nearly every video called Lovro Gaming, who's a Maribor fan in Slovenia. And when he's in my Twitch stream, it's great because he's continually asking me questions. We're having like a bit of dialogue. So when it's loading, it's fine. But if you don't have someone that will do that in Twitch, you get those sort of awkward silences that, if it's YouTube, you just cut it out. So...
I mean, you mentioned at the start of the chat that watching Parma drama was the reason why you got into YouTube, because you enjoyed it so much you want to give it a bash yourself. But who do you currently watch, apart from myself, of course? Who do you currently watch on YouTube? Is there a particular core of guys that you watch on a regular basis?
Yes, mainly the big ones because I'm guilty of that still. So your Dr. Benji's, Lelujo's, Loki Doki, those three. One True Nerd, I really like his stuff, and Proudy. I think what Proudy's done for the editing side of Football Manager is just ridiculous. His editing scenes, but Worst Football Manager is brilliant. And again, I think you've mentioned it before to say if he could have done it sort of daily, he'd be smashing the subscriber count and things like that.
100%.
Because he's just so natural in front of the camera, and he makes it so fun. And I can't wait for the day he gets a good PC so that you can have like all those proper graphics. Because I don't know if you've watched his latest ones when he's made the comeback with Corby Carnage, and he's like complaining about his graphics and saying that it's all up to date, and then it still runs really slowly, so it goes back to 2D Classic. But even that, he makes that entertaining. Something like you could get a lot of other Football Manager YouTubers who would get so annoyed by something like graphics that they would, I'm giving up, that's it, I'm ending. I'm going to leave it until I get a good computer. But Ben, as Worst Football Manager, makes it. Is his name Ben?
It's Ben, yeah.
Ben. He just makes it also flow so naturally. So I really like him. And if you haven't checked him out, definitely go and check him out, people. And then the other one I think I should give a shout out to is Gendo, because I think although he has something like 2,000 subscribers, I don't think he gets as much love as he should for his saves on Football Manager. I really like Brian Gendo, American guy who started doing vlogs as well for his match days for the MLS games that he goes to see for Chicago Fire. But yeah, his Basketboy series was really good. I'm pretty sure he's just ended it now. I think he's just finished it after something like 7 or 8 seasons. And before that, he did a save with Chicago Fire that I thought was really good fun, because the MLS is sort of an untouched enigma, if you will. I mean, like Loki Doki's branched into it now, but yeah, Brian Gendo, I think, is really underrated. And I watched nearly every single episode he brings out.
What do you think of Loki Doki's MLS Adventure save? I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, I love Loki Doki, but I'm not a particular fan of it because I've never been a big fan of the MLS. So what's your views? I mean, some people love it, some people not liking it quite so much. What's your opinion?
I quite like the MLS. I like its craziness. The Twitch stream I've got to go whenever I get the time to stream. Like you said, it's hard to find the time, but when I get the time to actually stream, I'm doing an MLS save with which has ironically turned out into a weird sort of road trip because I've been fired from 3 different clubs. So, but with Loki Doki's one, I think it's one of those where he's done it as a filler, and you can tell he's done it as a filler because he's not really. It appears like it's a jokey series, and that's what he does that really well. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Loki Doki's brilliant. I would love to see him give it another go now he understands the rules a bit better.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to say take it more seriously, but he won the MLS, didn't he, in his first season? So he's the way he's done it suits his style really well. But I would love to see him do it now he's got more knowledge of the rules again. And get that understanding so he doesn't have to release players and then sign them back and things like that. So I am a fan of it, and I have watched every single episode of it that he's brought out. And it's something I'd like to see him do again, to be honest.
I think I sort of lost track of it just after his first draft mode, when he had issues registering Ricardo Fuller, I think it was.
Yeah.
And just for me, the whole concept of registering players, and I was just like, I can't keep up. My brain doesn't work that well. So trying to keep up with MLS drafts and whatnot. I mean, I've tried to do an MLS save before, because initially for FM 17, I spoke to one of my friends who isn't an FM player, but he works in the football industry, and he said, look, if you do an MLS save or an Australian Football League save, I reckon it'll go down well, because there's a lot of guys out here in America, there's a lot of guys in Australia that do play and watch YouTube. So I tried an MLS save, I've tried an offline save, I couldn't get my head around it.
Yeah, so I understand most of the rules. I'm not going to say all of them because the MLS is crazy.
It is.
It's absolutely mental. But I understand most of the rules. What bugs me about the MLS on Football Manager is that they have the draft all wrong. Well, not all wrong. Obviously, the actual draft system is totally correct. But I think actually Loki Doki might have brought this up in one of his episodes where he said it's annoying because in real life with the MLS, they do the combine, and you get so late. Like every club will send scouts to the combine, and they'll make meticulous notes and know absolutely everything about every single player that's at this combine. But yet in Football Manager, you don't get that level of detail. You can scout the players, but you'll never get 100% knowledge, and you'll never get the understanding of their favourite actual role in a position, sort of thing. And then the grading system they give you at the end is just bollocks.
So for someone like me who doesn't play or watch the MLS, so do you think the MLS has potentially been sort of glossed over and ignored by Football Manager?
I don't think it's been ignored. I think they know who their mainstream base is.
Yeah.
I think they know their mainstream base is in Europe. And I think with the nature that Football Manager has, where it doesn't have a really good rival or a competitor game, I think they will stay with that. But saying that, the only market they've really got left to conquer is either the Asian sort of market and America. So, in my opinion, the MLS can only get better on Football Manager because that's their next sort of target audience to go for.
I'm surprised they haven't hit it as hard as they have, because, like I said, the MLS is getting bigger and bigger every year. The players they're signing, the team's been invented by David Beckham, Man City, etc. I wouldn't be surprised if we see FM18 and the MLS maybe a little bit more work to it, or a little bit more promotion. I don't know what the word's going to be exactly, but I wouldn't be surprised if a little bit more go into the MLS come FM18. I really wouldn't, because it's getting bigger and bigger.
I agree. I think they'll make it. I think they'll focus on it quite a bit. I really do.
Now, one thing we're hearing more and more, I've seen it asked a few times via the Sports Interactive Twitter page, is people are asking and pleading for FM to come onto consoles, PS4s and Xboxes. Now, for any golden oldies like me, I remember when Football Manager 2005, 2006, I think it was, came out.
I remember that.
Came out of the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
And it was awful. Do you think we could ever?
It just didn't work.
No, it didn't. Do you think we could ever get to the stage where, because the Xbox and PlayStation are pretty damn powerful, do you think we can ever get to the stage where we ever see FM be successful on the console, or do you potentially maybe because of the FIFA etc. that maybe there is a little bit of hesitation on Sports Interactive side to venture into that?
Yeah. I think that's the issue. I think it depends what you would deem, or what Sports Interactive would deem the word successful to mean. Because would it be a case that if they got it on console and sold, I don't know, 1 million copies, is that successful? Or is successful to Sports Interactive, let's get it on Xbox and PlayStation and take over from FIFA as the main game you would play to be a manager, sort of thing? I don't see it working. In how Football Manager is now, it's made for a mouse and a keyboard and a PC,
spreadsheets in it.
Or a touchscreen like an iPad, where they've done Football Manager Mobile. And I can't see how you could convert what you do in game on a PC with a mouse to using a joystick. And that's where, like you say, golden oldies, like I played it, I had it on Xbox 360, and it didn't work because you had to use the joystick and click, and it was so slow and laborious, and I don't know, I just hated it. I can remember actually hating it.
And I did.
And thinking this is never going to work. And then when they split, Champ Manager did one as well. They brought that out on Xbox 360, and that didn't work either. And I think, they've had a go, and I can't see them going back to it soon, because not only is it's just not, it's just horrible. I remember it being horrible with the joystick and the controller, and it just didn't work. And I think there's, like you sort of mentioned, they wouldn't break the FIFA market. Their market is on PC and on iPads and mobile phones to play it on the go. But I don't see them taking a risk. I think they're quite risk averse anyway as a company, because you can tell from the promotional videos that came out for Football Manager 17 how risk averse they are. But which was absolutely shocking.
Yeah.
But I don't see them doing it, and B, I don't see them don't see it working if they did do it.
I mean, Sports Interactive have done a couple of interviews, and are doing a couple of interviews regarding FM18, of course. I contacted Sports Interactive, and I asked to have someone come on the show, and I openly told them that I was going to be critical. I said, look, I'm the kind of guy that I might ask questions that other people don't ask. I don't beat around the bush. And I said, I'm going to ask you guys about the FM17 coverage, etc. Why it was so poor. Surprise, they said no, we're okay, thank you very much. Yeah. Because I don't want to be one of those guys that when I'm interviewing someone, rather than going, oh well, hucky, like I want to ask people like I did to you, why did you choose NK Maribor? They're such a small team, and asking guys like Bood, why do you get involved in so much drama? I want to ask questions maybe other guys wouldn't ask, and I think if I was to have something from Sports Interactive on, I'd love to do it. But I would ask so many questions that fans want to ask them regarding the match engine, regarding
that's the thing with them, isn't it? With Sports Interactive, that's what I mean by that. They're so risk averse. Yeah. I've never seen them do that with anyone.
They wouldn't. I've
never seen them do that. Like, okay, me and you both, we're quite small YouTube channels, but I've never seen them do it with a massive channel.
From what I've been told, when they do interviews, any form of interview, before the interview goes out of there, they have to review it. They listen to the interview and they say, yes, you can add this, yes, you can't add that. Because I know guys that interviewed them, I know guys that have done stuff with them. I know a few people in the football industry, the podcast industry, etc. And they've all told me that when you do this sort of stuff, they're very controlling over what you can and what you can't put out. So I don't know if it'd work with me, but I would love to do it one day. So if you are listening, SI, not that I think you are, come on the show. I'll be gentle, honest.
It would be good. It would be good to have someone have a frank interview with them and be like lay it sort of on the table.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't be horrible. I love the game. The game. It's my favourite game in the world. It's my favourite game. There's no other game that I put as many hours into as FM. But then I look at the game, I think there's so much more that could be done to make this game. And it sounds dramatic, but perfect. And they're all little things. There's nothing major we have to completely overhaul this. There's little tweaks to the matches, like sorting goalkeepers out. Do you know what I mean?
Goalkeepers.
Little things. It's just tiny little things. And I know we hear that we get dodgy goalkeeper mistakes in real life. But there's a reason why GW's Fan of the Week is so popular. It's because there's so many fucking fails in the game and so many stupid errors that it's infuriating. I mean, Loki Doki had one where he spoke about he had a Champions League. Was it Loki Doki? No, Giancarlo spoke about it, sorry. When Giancarlo had a Champions League and he couldn't play the guy because the guy wanted to go play for the under-21s rather than play the Champions League final. Like in real life, and a guy like, I'm going to go play the under-21 tour, but I can't play for a Champions League final. It's like, come on, little things like that can be sorted out. But I've said it before, and other people have said it, and you sort of implied it, that I think there is a sense of maybe complacency with SI because they haven't got any real competition out there. They can pretty much do what they want. No, do not promote FM17 in any way, shape, or form. Then can hurry out a quick sort of half-hour video of Miles at Watford. It's just like
saying, "Oh, there's like 40 different updates that are happening, and they're not really updates. It's just sort of they're just tweaking something so that the average rating now says 7.51 instead of 7.5." It's like that doesn't really count.
I mean, it annoys me because they go, we've got 500 new updates. And you're thinking, yeah, but updates are like what you just said. It could be little things like the grass texture is changed. They class that as an update. That's not an update to me. Don't mug me off. If you're going to do an update, like the social media feed, it may not be popular, but that was an update. There were certain things, that you can class an update, but 7.5, well, it should be 7.5. It is not an update.
But what really annoys me about it, and I get Miles is great. He's brought us this game, like you say, that we've played for years and years and years, and hours and hours and hours every time it comes out, and we buy every single game because we love it. But when he says things like, "Oh, I've got ideas for Football Manager 2020 or whatever it is," I've got ideas that will come out in Football Manager 2020. Don't do that. Don't say things like that. Because if you've got ideas for Football Manager 2020, put them in Football Manager 18 when it comes out. Like, if you've got all these ideas, unless it's processing power that is the problem for a PC, if the problem is the average PC won't be able to process these ideas that he wants to put in the game, just put them in the game. Or don't say things like that. Because it really winds me up when people are like... I think games like Fallout or Call of Duty or things where they can, or games that have sequels, they can go, we've got an idea for Fallout 7 because they've planned 5, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's fine. But when it's a game like Football Manager, the fundamentals of it don't change. It's not a story.
Exactly.
It's a standalone game every time. And football. I mean, I know Dr. Benji's mentioned this loads, but Football Manager 17 was a Football Manager 16.5.
Yeah, agreed.
And no one wants Football Manager 18 to actually be what Football Manager 17 should have been. They want it to be this updated, brilliant, perfect game. We're all suckers. We're all going to buy it anyway. But I think they've had a bit of a backlash from Football Manager 17, and I hope they've learned the lessons from it. And Miles, if you're listening, which you're probably not, try not to say things like, I've got ideas planned for Football Manager 2020, and then come out with a reason why they're not being implemented into the next game that's coming out. I mean, that's what I think. But
I've said it before. I mean, I think what FM do most years is they'll do a Football Manager 16.5, and then the one after that tends to be the big updates. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a complete overhaul in some sense for FM 18, because like Benji said, like Loki Doki, Bood, Wolfie, and you have all said, FM 17 was essentially FM 16.5, a couple of minor adjustments. I wouldn't be surprised for FM 18 to be a complete overhaul, and we see lots of new features. I mean, I'd love to see training get a complete overhaul because
massively.
I used to back in the day, and I mean 10 years ago, be really involved in training. But to me now, it's just like, get my assistant managers to do it. Because it's just, I find it so boring going, oh, you can focus on your first touch. You can focus on this. Now, I don't want mini games where I've got to do like press W or do Q and W. I don't want mini games, but I just want something where I take an interest in training.
It takes me back to like, I think it was Champ Manager 0102 or maybe 0203, like really early on in the series. Now I'm showing my age. Now, like that back then, when you set up training and you could set up training for your defenders, strikers, for
that's exactly what it was.
Goalkeepers,
exactly,
and get them working on everything you wanted to. So if you had a team that wanted to play short passing tiki-taka football, you got all your midfielders to just work on passing most of the time.
Exactly, and I remember that as well.
So
defenders, midfielders, goalkeepers, attackers, and each one focus on a different area of the game. And what to me, I like that. I like that. But now I can choose Ronaldo to work on first touch. I can choose Benzema to work a thing, which sounds great. But in real life football, does that happen? Probably not. Maybe guys at SI probably know more about real life football training than we do, but I can't envisage for 1 second Ronaldo being told to focus on his first touch and Benzema being told to concentrate.
Even if they do, even if they are, they won't be doing it on their own, will they?
Exactly.
They'll have right. U6 focus on first touch.
Exactly.
U6 focus on finishing. U7 whatever focus on tackling. That's how I imagine it. You're not just going to have. Imagine, Zinedine Zidane goes up to Ronaldo at training and being like, right, you're not going to do the general training today. You're going to go over there on your own and practice your first touch. Like, it's not going to happen, is it?
And CR7 goes, that's all right, mate. See you later.
See you later. But, I agree. Training needs not necessarily a massive overhaul. It just needs something to make it better because it's shit.
I think people's most gripes for the game have always been 3 things. 1, match engine. 2, training. And 3, press conferences. Press conferences, you pretty much know after 2 months of playing the game where to click without actually reading the question in full. I can go right up, like second bottom, second up. I know where to click. Do you know what I mean?
I think what is a very easy way to sum up press conferences is that if you watch anybody do a Football Manager save on YouTube, the first like half a season they'll do all the press conferences. And then it will get through the game, and as they keep playing more, you'll just see them say, or they'll say, or you'll see them on screen click and say, "Send the assistant."
That's what I do. That's what I do.
Yeah. Like even on my Maribor save, at the beginning, I answered every single press conference, and now it's just, I'm sending the assistant to that. I'm sending the assistant to that. And Dr. Benji's done the same, and Lelujo. Well, Lelujo, I think, gets his assistant to do absolutely everything. So, but yeah.
I mean, the only time I don't do assistant is when I get like a backlash, because sometimes you send the assistant and the players will kick off, didn't they? Oh, these players are unhappy about the way the assistant manager handled the halftime team talk. I was like, I better take care of myself. But I'm the same. At the start of the game, I get really into it, and then 6 months into the game in real life, I'm like, I'm bored of it now. Send the assistant. Unless it's a big game, I don't bother. And we've also recently heard that some are excited about this, some are not so excited about it. About that, the German German rights, the German football rights, the name rights, the German national team. From FM 19 or was it FM 20?
Yeah, 19, I think. Yeah,
we're gonna have that all in the game. I mean, is that a big deal to you? Some people were saying it's minor because we can just do it ourselves anyway by deleting the fake thing in the folder. So it doesn't really make a big difference.
I mean, it's not. It is a good thing because I mean, when you get drawn against Gelsenkirchen in the Champions League and you think, is that the one that's Schalke? Oh yeah, it is the one that's Schalke. You think actually getting their names is a big step forward, but we all know about that now. So is it going to be one of those things that Football Manager 19 comes out? Big update. We've got the Bundesliga name. No, we know that, Miles. We know we've got that. So, I mean, yes, it is a big deal, but it's not game-changing, is it? It's not, like you say, how many people actually just... If there's anyone out there that actually plays the game without removing that fake news, that fake thing that you can remove and get the German national players in, and, maybe doesn't have logo packs so that they know which one's Schalke and which one's not and all of that thing, comment below, because surely everyone that plays the game has got rid of that, especially that fake thing. Surely everyone's got rid of it.
There's nothing worse than that. And also, but when you get the fake thing as well, you can't manage Holland, you can't manage France, you can't. And again, like I said, I'm someone that likes international management, so I'm someone that does try to manage Holland. I mean, in my Ajax save now, the Holland manager is very insecure. So every week I'm declaring my interest in the Holland job because I'd love to manage a Holland team in my Ajax save. But I would love to see them, like you said, fucking get rid of their fake names, their fake fucking things, because there's nothing more annoying than when at the start of the game when you've got the Germany team with just a random German-sounding names. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah, it is annoying. I mean, so it is a good step that they've got the rights, but like I said, it's not a game changer. It's because we've all, like you said, we've all been doing it for years, getting rid of it.
Now, we heard earlier you're a Manchester United manager. Is there any particular reason why? Was it a father, a grandfather, an uncle, a brother? What was the reason?
It's weird you say that because you've named every male relative I've got. It's actually my mum.
Oh, really?
That made me a Football Manager fan. No, she didn't. She made
That'd
me
be better.
A Man United fan. Yeah, she was actually, she got it from her dad, so my granddad, who I never actually met, but he was like a massive George Best fan and Bobby Charlton fan and things like that. And he just sort of passed on that it was on the TV, and she watched it and fell in love, and then ended up actually living in Salford, like opposite. I don't know if you've been to Old Trafford, but over the quay, you could see Old Trafford from her flat where she lived when she worked up there, up in Salford. And I didn't really get a choice. My brother, who was older than me, grew up and he's not the rebellious type. The one sort of rebellion he's ever done is that he picked to support Liverpool to piss my mum off. So once that had happened, I never had a choice. It was it. I was supporting Man United through thick and thin. Luckily, growing up, it was all pretty good. And then, David Moyes happened. But it was, I've supported them all my life, and it's because of my mother. So
my dad was a Man United fan too, which is why I sort of supported them as a kid. I almost became a Man City fan. My granddad was a Manchester City fan. And he used to always say, put Manchester City, best, put Manchester City. I look back now thinking, if I had said yes, I could have had these Premier League titles and all sorts. And now look at me, I'm a Luton Town fan.
Yeah. You'd have that success. Luton will get some success, mate. They'll do well.
Oh, this year we're going up as champions. The signings we've made this season, we're going up as champions. I've no doubt about that at all.
Excellent.
How we kept Nathan Jones amazes me because there's rumours, and he was massive odds-on favourite for the Wigan job. And I'm talking like 1 to 4 on. It was basic, dead set he was going to go, but for some reason we kept him. So I think this year we'll go up as champions, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Nathan Jones make the move to bigger and better things in the next year or so. So
interesting.
He's a fantastic manager. He's a young guy, and he's Welsh, which makes him even better in my eyes. But some of the signings we made, we lost Cam McGinn, who is my man love, my man crush, Cam McGinn. But we've done very well this summer. I mean, you guys haven't done too bad in terms of your transfer business. I'd imagine you're pretty happy.
Yeah, I am. It's I said, weirdly, I was having a conversation with a Tottenham fan not too long ago at a wedding, and we were chatting about this sort of thing, like who transfers and how we think our clubs are going to do in the window. And I said to him, I think the number one target I'd have is probably Harry Kane, but I just can't see Levy ever selling him for any money. He knows what the value is for commercially of Harry Kane. And I said the next target I want is Lukaku, and we went out and got him. I mean, not a big fan of the chucking money at clubs situation, but I guess that's all been blown into the nether regions now because of Neymar to PSG. Money isn't an issue anymore, is it, for clubs? So, no. But I'm really, really happy with Lukaku. I think getting a goal scorer to replace Ibra, or possibly play alongside Ibra come Christmas. Who knows what's going to happen if we're going to give him a new contract? But I think Lukaku is a great signing. Premier League experience, proven goal scorer, really good. It covers all the bases that you want. He's quick. He's strong. He's a good target man, and we know Mourinho likes to play with a bit of a target man. I think Matic is a good signing. I think it will be interesting to see what happens to the midfield now for the likes of Fellaini, who I think gets a bad rep.
Agreed.
I actually think he does a good job at what he does, and I think he does have a place in Man United, but not their starting 11. So yeah, I think we've been pretty good. I think Lindelof is an unknown sort of quantity. He could be the next Nemanja Vidic, or he could be someone terrible.
William Prunier.
yeah, there you go, William Prunier, yeah. And you can't judge someone by pre-season. He's looked a little bit shaky in pre-season, but
so did Vidic and Evra. Do you remember Vidic and Evra first joined United?
I can remember, Patrice Evra's debut when he was absolutely horrendous. And everyone was like, "Who on earth is this guy?"
He's been the best left backs as Irwin now.
Yeah. So, I think we've had a good window. You can tell Mourinho is getting annoyed by it all, and he's got a big season to have now, isn't he? He's got a really big season to have because he's making this team his own. And he's spent a hell of a lot of money doing it.
Would you like to have seen you going for Neymar? I know it costs 198 million pounds, but would you like to have seen Woodward, try and make a move for him?
I think, yes, obviously. The answer is, if we're saying money is no object and I don't have an opinion on the money side of it, then it would have been brilliant. But then I would love to see him generally in the Premiership. It would be one of those signings.
I think he'll be there. I've said on Twitter, I give it 18 months to 2 years. It'll be the Premiership. I wouldn't surprise if this is like a sort of a stepping stone to
massively. Yeah, I agree.
To make the move there. Because there's no way with Barcelona sell him to frigging Man United or Man City. But I wouldn't be surprised if 18 months to 2. He's only 24, 25 now.
Yeah.
So he's not going to hit his peak to sort of his late 20s, early 30s. So I wouldn't be surprised if we, in sort of less than 2 years, we see him rock up in a Chelsea shirt more than anything because, Roma's money, London. I wouldn't be surprised to see him rock up something like that. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a stepping stone towards the Premier League, or towards something else. I guess it all depends, doesn't it? If PSG go and win the Champions League in 2 years, he should turn around and say, like he said about Barcelona, he needs a new challenge because he's won everything. he might just literally stay at PSG until they win the Champions League and then look to move again. But if there wasn't that money, moral, ethical, maybe not an ethical thing, but the money issue behind it, I would have loved Man United to have signed him, but I would never have justified paying £200 million for it, ever.
What surprised me is we're hearing about Alexis Sanchez potentially going Man City. Why haven't United gone in for him? I mean, is he not a United type player, or I'm just surprised we haven't heard it at all.
I think that's because United are somewhat probably more realistic than Man City.
Yeah.
I don't think Man City are probably used to not hearing no as an answer.
Yeah.
But I just don't think they're used to it. I can't see Arsenal selling him to an English team at all. And I think Man United probably did ask. They probably, similar to how Loki Doki describes the MLS transfer system. What do you want for him? Reject. Straight away, not even a negotiation. I imagine that's what it is, and I imagine that's what they said to Man City, and I imagine that's why Arsene Wenger said he'll keep him for another year and let his contract run out because
do you think that'll happen?
He's free. Yeah, I think it will. Yeah, I think unless Arsenal win the league this year, I think Alexis Sanchez has gone because that's the only way I can see them keeping hold of him. and then he's free reign to choose where he wants to go, and he'll go to probably Barcelona.
Yeah.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Barcelona have got 220 million now, so could Arsenal turn down 100 million for him? I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if Barcelona wanted to bid, let's say, they would rather have Sanchez than Coutinho, would Arsenal turn down 100 million for a player that has got 1 year left on his contract and doesn't look likely to sign another contract? They'd be stupid to, wouldn't they?
I was amazed when they sold Sanchez because he was doing pretty damn well when he was at Barcelona. He played very well at Barcelona. So I was surprised when he left. I know you had Suarez, etc. come in, but I just thought Sanchez was, at the time, a winger per se.
He got Barca. His first team place got taken by Neymar, didn't it?
Yeah. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, Sanchez is fucking smashing. How have you let this guy go? So I wouldn't be surprised to see him rock back up at Barcelona at all in the Barcelona show. I wouldn't be surprised. But I would equally, if I had to put my house on it, I'd say Bayern Munich. I could envisage him making a move to Bayern. He's won everything in Spain. He's now won. He's now won in England. He's won the FA Cup in England.
He's won the FA Cup, yeah.
Which is not.
Woo!
I wouldn't be surprised to see him make the move to Bayern. I wouldn't be surprised because we're also hearing Renato Sanchez could potentially be coming to England as well. United, Chelsea, and £44 million. To me, sounds a bargain.
Oh wow! Well, to me that sounds steep for someone that hasn't impressed. That he's Bayern Munich, isn't he, at the moment? And
yeah, correct.
There's something when a player like that is rumoured to go somewhere else, and the manager doesn't, even if it is going to happen, and the manager doesn't come out and say, "No, he's staying with us." I always think there's something slightly, possibly wrong with the player's attitude, or
like Ross Barkley.
Yeah, something like. I mean, even Neymar, wasn't it? It was a release clause, and the Barcelona president still came out and went, "No, he's not going anywhere. He's not going. It's all rumours." And then he ended up going. Whereas for Ancelotti at Munich to come out and say, "Yeah, Sanchez might go," it's sort of like, well, why would you give up that easily on someone who's meant to be one of the best prodigies in football at the moment? Don't get me wrong, he looks amazing. He does look absolutely amazing, but I'm always sceptical when things like that happen. It's the sort of player you would expect the manager to come out and totally refute the transfer rumours. You'd totally expect him to come out and be like, "No, he's not going anywhere." Even if he does eventually go somewhere, that's what I would expect from someone of that class with that much potential that we're told he has, and what we saw he was really good at the Euros.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, he did play well at the Euros.
Euro 2016, he's one of the best midfielders out of the tournament. He was superb at Euro 2016. He was amazing. He really was. That's why I'm surprised that he hasn't, gone on this season and kicked on to become a first team player for Bayern. But for one reason or another, it hasn't quite worked for him. Obviously, nobody knows why. But I wouldn't be surprised someone that age, maybe too much too soon. Who knows?
True. He's the sort of player you sort of want to see come on loan to the Premiership.
Yeah.
So maybe like maybe an Everton, or someone maybe even someone like Liverpool as well, who are in the Champions League, and if they click, they could push for the title. But their aims, Liverpool's sort of aims, will be the Champions League again. And I think if he came on loan to someone like that, where he's still got a good coach in Jurgen Klopp, someone that would still try and get the best out of him and use him to his potential, that would be really interesting to see. But I mean, if he comes to United, is he going to start? Surely our midfield three is going to be Herrera, Matic, and Pogba.
Matic is a cracking signing. An absolute belt of. He's only 28. He's only 28. I thought he was in his early 30s. He's only.
So did I. Yeah, I thought he was 30. I thought it was my sort of age. I'll David Brent it and put myself in the 30 bracket.
I wish I was 30. But Matic is a fantastic. I think the business United have done this season. Yeah, I'm surprised Luke Shaw's still there. To be honest, I thought he would have gone by now. With all the talks that Mourinho about his weight, his attitude, etc. I envisaged a move to Spurs happening. So who knows? So
did I. I'm surprised he's still there, but we don't have any other left backs.
Exactly. That's what I would. I envisaged a Danny Rose coming United and Luke Shaw going to Spurs. That's what I sort of thought might have happened. Some surprise that hasn't happened yet, but there's still time. So who knows what's going to happen? But I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, regarding Manfred, like you said earlier, I mean, there was rumours he was going to get Galatasaray, but Mourinho then came out and said, Fellaini's important for my plans this season. He's not going anywhere. Which
I imagine he's important for the League Cup plans. Again, it's like you got Herrera, Pogba, Matic playing in that midfield three, and then you've got Juan Mata in there as well.
There's a lot of games, Champions League, FA Cup League games. He'll get matches this season.
Yeah, he will. Yeah, he'll get very I guess like Mourinho said, he'll get very specific games.
Yeah,
where he's played. So yeah, I like Fellaini, and I bet on him to be first goal scorer every time I go to Old Trafford. So
do you really?
When he scored against St Etienne with a header, I had a double win bet because he scored the first goal and I said the first goal will be a header. So every time I go to, because there's three of us that go to Old Trafford for nearly every single European game we play in, and both of them absolutely despise Fellaini. So I said, that's it. Every time we go to the game together, I'm going to put money on him to be first goal scorer. So yeah, I ended up for the season, so that's all right.
A couple of beers were on you after the game, I'd imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they were happy. Yeah.
Well, there we go, boys and girls. Another cracking episode with a Slovenian sensation, Cultured Left Foot. Absolutely belting it. If you've really enjoyed hearing about his thought process between NK Maribor, his love for Manchester United. But if you haven't already, why the hell not subscribe to his channel? He's got his NK Maribor save. He's got a Slovenian adventure save when he managed the national team. We didn't really get to talk about that as much. I would have liked. That's my fault. Apologies. But if you want to give yourself a shout out, dude, with social media and whatnot, please feel free to do so.
Cool. Well, as Ben said, you can find me on YouTube as just search for Cultured Left Foot, and I'm the first one that comes up because no one else is stupid enough to name any channels like that. And then I'm on Twitter at Cultured F. You can find me there. I'm pretty quiet, but I'll spout nonsense about football every so often. I think now the football season's back, I'll be a bit more vocal on Twitter. And then on Twitch, you can see me at twitch.tv/cultured_left_foot. I nearly forgot how to use the internet then. I forgot what you had to do for an internet address. But I got there in the end.
How to spell your name.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's been very good. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, thank you, Megan. I really appreciate it. It's been an absolute pleasure. It really has.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Well, there we go, boys and girls. Another episode over. So thank you all for your love and support. If you haven't already, make sure you smash that like button on YouTube. If you're listening via iTunes or SoundCloud, please subscribe to the podcast and also leave me a nice positive review. 5 stars would be much appreciated. Without any further ado, I'm going to bid you adieu. Thank you all for your love and support. But don't forget, before we go, diolch.